Another street photographer, or what do you call street photographer also, sort of. Please welcome Tinne van Loon. Please welcome. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, also you will be talking today about your project, Egypt Every Day. Yes?
Everyday Egypt, yeah.
Yeah, Everyday Egypt. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So please introduce yourself and let us know about it.
Okay.
Stage is yours.
So I always get a little bit nervous when I have to stand and talk. So I tend to talk a little bit fast, so bear with me. So my name is Tinne van Loon. I am a documentary photographer and filmmaker. I am originally from Belgium, but I moved to Egypt 3 years ago, and I'm still here. I usually work as a photographer freelance with magazines or NGOs. But the last year, I've actually spent a lot of time working on a documentary film. So some of you may have seen this. I started working on this film a year ago, and together with my partner, Colette, and we decided to make a documentary about sexual harassment in Egypt. I know that in Egypt, everybody's like, oh yes, sexual harassment, we know. But it's a big problem, unfortunately. So we decided to make a documentary about it. And to show that even staring can be sexual harassment, we decided to make a video where Colette, my partner, secretly filmed using an iPhone when she was walking down Assalini Bridge. And she walked down the bridge one time and made one video. And we had a lot of men staring at her. So we put some nice electro-shabby music to the video, and we posted it online. And before we knew it, it was going viral across the world. More than 2 million people saw it. And we were on all the major news stations across the world in the United States. We were on the national nightly news in Sweden. We were interviewed by a radio station in Australia. We were in Chinese newspapers. It was crazy. So it brings me to the point that in a lot of the work that I do, social media ends up being a part of it. So by posting this video online, it went viral, and that's how we actually got the full documentary funded. Because this was getting so much attention, we decided to start a Kickstarter campaign, and we raised $25,000 in a month to make the full documentary. And we are now working on the final stages of documentary, and it will be released next year, inshallah. But I'm not here today to talk about sexual harassment. I'm talking about Everyday Egypt. So Everyday Egypt is a project that I started, last year, 2014, in June. And it's a project that I founded together with about 20 other photographers. And the idea is that we show photography on social media of everyday life in Egypt. So the idea is that it's good photography, of course, but it's not always about good things, right? Like everyday life in Egypt can be difficult. So sometimes they're really nice, like funny moments that you photograph, and sometimes it's less nice moments that you photograph. But the whole idea is always that it's everyday life in Egypt. So we became very popular, and within about a year and a half that we've been doing this now, we have 186,000 fans on Facebook. I'm sure some of you are fans as well. And on Instagram, we have more than 50,000 as well. So these are the contributors right now. As you can see, it's a lot of Egyptians. It's not just foreigners like me. Actually, it's only, I think, 3 foreigners right now that are in Egypt, and 2 of them are Chinese, actually. So the way that Everyday Egypt works is that we all have the password to the Instagram account. So when I welcome you to Everyday Egypt, you get the password, and we get some very general guidelines of what you should do. And then it's really up to all of us to post any photos that we think fit the idea of Everyday Egypt. So it's really a collaborative effort. It's I chose the first contributors, and now we choose the new contributors as a voting process. We vote together who we think should be added, and then everybody has a password. So maybe we even disagree. Maybe one person thinks like, oh, I think this thing I photographed really fits for Everyday Egypt, and other people in the project don't think that that fits. But that's kind of the beauty of it, is that it's a collaborative project, and it's our vision together, not just our individual vision. And Everyday Egypt is part of a bigger global movement. We're called the Everyday Projects. So actually, the idea of Everyday Egypt didn't just start with me. It started with 2 photographers who were working in Africa, and they were really fed up with all the stereotypes about Africa, you know? The stereotypes of, oh, Africa is just poor, black kids, you know, with the big stomachs, naked in the street, and they don't have technology or anything. So they really wanted to fight this idea and to break all these stereotypes about Africa that really in 2015, we shouldn't have these stereotypes anymore. So they started the project actually in 2012, I think. And then inspired by them, other photographers across the world started making their own accounts also to fight stereotypes in their countries or regions. So Everyday Middle East was started, Everyday Asia, Everyday Latin America, and then I also got the idea to start Everyday Egypt. So I'll show you some photographs. So our idea is really that it's about the photography. It's about the content. It doesn't matter so much if you have the best camera or like the crappiest phone. As long as the content is good, then it's good to go on Everyday Egypt. So this is actually a photo by Nadia. She's also part of Everyday Egypt. So just like you guys laugh at this photo, we get a lot of reactions to our photography because, of course, the nature of our photography being on social media is that people can comment. And sometimes it's a little bit scary because people don't always like what we post. What's funny is that when we first started the project, we could really post anything we wanted, and in general, people were happy with it. But then the more and more followers we get, and now that we're at 186,000, we're getting very strong reactions from people. People feel very passionate about their opinion. So, for example, this photograph, this was one of the first ones that we really got a lot of attention for. It's taken by Magid, and he lives in Alexandria. So he photographed a homeless man sleeping on this old a tram car. And like his feet are very dirty, and obviously he's not doing so well. So in the beginning when we posted it, in like the first few hours, people were like, oh, the photo is so beautiful, the colors are beautiful, the composition is beautiful. And then people started getting angry at these people, saying, how can you find this photo beautiful? This man is suffering. And they were even saying, how can Magid take this photo? He should, instead of taking the photo, he should go and help him. So it gets a lot of reactions, a lot of opinions from people. So for example, somebody saying, what a shame that everyone is admiring the photograph and the skills of the photographer and forgetting about the hardships of the subject. He's homeless and looks completely beaten down and helpless. It's very sad. So I think it's very funny when people think that, you shouldn't photograph things like this. Or the photographer should have helped this person. But there are thousands of other people that walked by this guy and also did nothing. And the fact that Maggot took a photo doesn't mean that afterwards he couldn't go up to him and help him. This is taken in 1 second. It doesn't mean that he can't also help him. So I feel like it's very interesting how people kind of think of this photo as like a singular thing, as if life ended here and nothing can happen before or afterwards.